Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining us here for All Access Pass. My name is Jason. I'm your cruise host, and I am so excited to have you back again for another one of our fantastic shows. Today, my esteemed guest is already on stage with me, the one and only Mr. Peter Noone.
Mr. Peter Noone!
And I know we already said it, but welcome back. We're glad
It's
to have
nice
you.
to see you.
Well,
Second time, same as the first.
it's shocking.
I hope I come back again. I
never
enjoyed
heard
this. I'm enjoying this cruise.
Are you
This
having
is
a good
fun.
time?
Yeah, next time. I want more money next time, but
Well.
I'm coming back.
So do I. So we'll appeal together.
We should always up it every time.
We should. I agree.
Till it hurts.
Little light.
Yeah, a little bit.
What's it like being back on the Flower Power cruise? Obviously, we haven't seen
I've
you
enjoyed
last
it really because I was with Mickey Dolenz and
Yes.
Felix Cavalieri and Mark Lindsay, and I'm going to go and see the Cowsills tonight.
I know. The Cowsills are great.
You know, we got all their records. I've met them once before. I had a TV show a little bit like this where I interviewed them.
Yes.
But I think I can't remember much about it. It was a period. I say to people, was it before 1985? I'm sorry.
Yeah. just lead with the apology. So
Yeah.
don't need any confusion. Well, in before we started here, we were chatting a little bit about doing 120 some odd dates a year. My initial question would be, and forgive the bluntness, why? Why so many dates? Why do you stay so busy?
I think because I can.
That's a great answer.
You know, I think, like I got friends like in the Stones. Some of them want to work and some of them don't want to work. But the ones who want to work win because there's still a demand for them.
Sure.
And the fact that when I first started, when I was a kid and I started doing this, I kind of imagined that this may happen. Not on this scale, but that you would keep going. Basically, because I can't do anything else. I've tried to do other things.
This is it.
This is my job. And before it was my job, it was my hobby.
Sure.
So imagine the fortune. What do I do when I'm not here talking to you? I go in my cabin and I listen to music and I play music and I look at music and I watch it. And I live in the music world. I mean, music is my hobby. So when I first started out, I had records by Dion and Roy Orbison and the Monkees. Every day I'm just learning more about the music business. Every day since I was a kid, started playing stuff. I've been into music.
Well, and you became Hermit at 15, correct? That's when Hermits.
That's when I was in other bands before then. But the first successful band I was in was Herman and the Hermits.
And you were about 15 years old.
When I was in 12, I was in the Cyclones, and my sister let me play a gig. It was called an engagement at a party that she had for some of her girlfriends. And she had hot girlfriends.
All the more reason to play it.
When you're 12, all 14-year-old girls look fantastic. So
you got to take that gig.
Yeah. So we did it, but after the gig, we decided that we needed to change our name from the Cyclones, and we became another band. We used to change our name after every gig. And finally...
It's hard to get a following if you're continuing.
When we were quite a long time, we were Pete Novak and the Heartbeats, because we were kind of good and different. And we kept that for a long time, and then we became Herman and the Hermits, and then we got famous because it was such a stupid name.
It's always the one that, that's the one that hits, right?
Yeah, but everybody had stupid names. We had friends like Farron's Flamingos and Jerry and the Pacemakers.
Yeah.
But Jerry and the Pacemakers were originally called Jerry Marsden and the Mars Bars.
Oh.
And that is a stupid name, isn't it? But stupid goes a long way in the music business. Because look, like I got songs like, well, not me, Man for Man got like Do Wah Diddy.
Sure.
And there's all those stupid songs. But my favorite stupid song is, I told everybody in the concert, Richard Harris.
Yeah.
Someone left a cake out in the rain. I don't think that I can take it.
It's a travesty.
I mean, that's a stupid song about a cake. And there is no happy ending. Oh, she got the cake, she put it back in the oven and fixed it.
Doesn't happen like that.
No.
No. Once it's in the rain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lost cake.
Yeah. Oh, no.
We don't talk about lost cake on a cruise ship. These folks will be affected. We have all the cake, my friends. We have all the food you need. Don't worry, we're not going anywhere.
I've had a couple of good cakes.
Have you?
Yeah. Good cakes.
Do you enjoy the... As he stretches the vest.
Yeah, that's why I'm wearing this thing. This is not a jacket. This is a girdle. This is holding in.
To keep the cakes in.
Yeah. I think what happened, some of my arse moved around the front in the night.
It's the sea air.
Yeah,
the
you know what
salt.
I'm talking about.
It's the salt air. Yeah, yeah. What's your go-to cake? What's your favorite cake in the world?
Like, oh, there's these little, excuse me, there's these little ones in a little jar like that, like with the thing, and there's a yellow one and there's a pink one, and you don't have to eat them all. You can just have a few spoonfuls of each one, and if you have a few spoonfuls from all three, the blue and the thing, I don't know what they're called. I don't ask what they're called. I say,
yeah,
put three on the plate. Yeah. As if I'm with my family, you know what I mean? And then I go to the table and eat a little bit of each one.
This is for my whole family. It's
just
they're
all
you.
Gone. Yeah, yeah. No, but I kind of liked that food thing, you know. I've always been...
Are you a foodie?
I think God created all this abundance of stuff, you know, like this.
Everything.
And I think he wants us all to participate. So, you know, if you're lucky enough to be... You know, my dad, when he was old, got really skinny. He was fine when he was a bit fat, but he got really skinny when he was old, and then he passed away. And I think if probably stayed smoking and fat, he would have been better off. You know what I mean? I think. So, you know.
Indulge.
I think we're supposed to. Yeah.
Enjoy.
You know, there was a guy. I don't know how long we got, but there was a guy who had a restaurant on the Upper East Side, and I think his name was Eli. And it's Eli Eats on Upper. And he was a French guy, and he was really, really ornery. Is that a word? Ornery.
Yep.
And these women would come and they'd go, Eli, do you have the lemon meringue with no sugar? No. Do you have a non-fat chocolate eclair? No. Do you have some sugar-free cookies? Why don't you eat this one and go for a walk? Sort of calorie counting French style.
Yeah, French style, yeah.
He was great. I loved it. It was so funny just to see him be, you know, because he wasn't mean. He just thought he made good cakes and that they were supposed to be eaten.
Why screw them up by taking all the sugar out?
Exactly.
Yeah. Why mess it up?
Yeah.
Now, you said you're a little bit shy when you walk around as well. Earlier we were talking about it.
I feel like I get uncomfortable because, first of all, the people who are uncomfortable, they say, I don't want to bother you while you're eating. But, you know, when I was a kid, I went to a chemist's on a pharmacy, whatever you call it in America, you know, pharmacy. A famous one, Boots the Chemist on Oxford Street. And I walk in, and I was about 16, 17, and I'm standing next to me is Paul McCartney, because all the Beatles lived around the back of Oxford Street in this square. Montague Square it's called, and they all lived in these apartments, and I knew where they lived, but he's in the little, you know, chemist store. And I go, what are you doing in here? You know, you're one of the Beatles. Like he didn't know he was one of the Beatles, you know.
You were informing him. Yeah.
And he goes,
don't you know who you are?
So he says to there was a girl there, she says, excuse me, could I get that toothpaste and that blue toothbrush up there? She goes, oh my God, you're Paul McCartney. He goes, yeah. Could I get your autograph? It's not for me, it's for my mother, you know, it's one of those things. Yeah. He says, sure, what's in it? To Louise, Paul McCartney. In those days, he used to sign autographs, doesn't do it anymore. So, and he gave it to her. And she was like thrilled, and she gave him the thing, and he goes, see, it takes just about the same amount of time to say, sure, as it does to say, can't you see eating breakfast or whatever people do? So I learned a lesson that it's just as quick to be just kind to people and get rid of them. Kind to them and get rid of them as quickly as possible. Because we're on a mission here. We have to get this ship to Aruba.
He said ship with a P, just in case you missed that. Do not go anywhere, my friends. We're going to be back in just a moment. Don't turn the channel back with more of one and only Mr. Peter Noone.
Yay!
Thank you for not going away, my friends. Whether you're live here in the room or whether you're watching us on TV, I'm back with the one and only Mr. Peter Noone. And you actually had a great point. We were talking about that, and I think that there is it's not a misconception, but everyone wants a few minutes, right? Everybody wants a chance to say hello. And I'm sure you want to say hello to everybody, but sometimes it's important that everyone understands that we're in everybody. We are in
Yeah.
everybody. It's not just Janet or just Michael or just Billy. It's everybody.
That Billy, yeah.
Billy's tough. But it gets daunting. It gets daunting. I'm sure.
You know, I think if people, it's hard to explain that there isn't how much time it takes. You know what we really do really well. Everybody on the cruise is what we do, our job, and I don't think many of us are good at that. We wouldn't do really well at the returns department of a shoe store.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you say, what's wrong with those? They fit perfectly. You've worn them. You know what I mean? And they'd go back with the stuff that they thought they were going to return. So we're just good at singing and dancing and being amusing. I mean, all of us. I mean, it's amazing. If you look at, how many shows have you been to?
Yeah, already.
They're all great. I mean, you know, some of these people are must be like 70.
So old.
And they still fit. I mean, what's Mickey Dolenz now? He's got to be 72, 73, something like that. He's still fit. Yeah. He's fit. I hope I'm like that when I'm his age. and look, and I saw Felix last night. Felix Cavalieri sings great.
He still sounds phenomenal.
Sounds phenomenal. Dancing's a bit shaky, but the rest. But
it was never his strong suit.
No, he was never known as a dancer. I thought it was. I suddenly thought, when you're doing, I'm going to wait till the midnight hour. I was going, when is it over?
It's a full hour.
Yeah, he's going to wait.
You mentioned in the first segment that at one point you knew you were going to do this for a long time. At what age were you when you realized this is what you were really truly going to do?
My grandmother took me to Urmston Baths. In those days, somebody's from Urmston, they see. Urmston Baths. And in those days, they had a public, people would go there to have a bath, which is kind of shocking when you think about it. I never went there for a bath because we had a bathroom at my house. We were posh. But she used to, so there was like they were all, I forget to tell you, that all my family were Irish. Only they were in Irish denial. They thought that they were English. When you got to England, you were no longer Irish. No, I'm English.
Yeah.
You've got a bit of an Irish accent there. Yes, but I'm English. Because when you got to England, that was it.
That's where you were from.
And I would tease my grandmother. I'd say, you only came here because you couldn't find a bloody potato. and so there was lots of music in my house. Like my father played the trombone. His sister, my Auntie Mary, played the piano really well. My grandfather played the organ in the local church with the feet and everything, you know, like Felix Cavalieri. And my grandmother was the choir mistress. Sorry, in those days you could say choir mistress. She was the lady who ran the choir.
Better.
Choir leader. And she fancied that I was going to be, first of all, I was in the choir, but she always said, don't sing so loud. It's a choir. We've got to share the parts. I took the lead role in every one of those things, pushed old ladies out of the way to get to the front, check. So they had this thing at the Urmston Baths, which was a concert, and my grandmother said, get up there and do Phil the Fluter's Ball. And I go, are you kidding? And I did the whole of Phil the Flute. It's like, you know, with a toot of the flute and a twiddle of the fiddle, oh, hopping in the middle like a heron on the griddle, oh, up, down, hands around, crossing to the wall, oh, hadn't we the gaiety at Phil the Fluter's Ball? And I did it in an Irish accent, and I was English. And I did it, and I did all the dancing, and I did it pretty good. And as I'm doing it, I can see people going like, that look of, he's amazing. And this is something I just did at the, you know, any time there was a party.
Sure.
But in my house, in my grandmother's, I lived with my grandparents because my parents were at university. In my grandparents' house, they had a room where, you know, if somebody died, they'd put them in there for a bit, and everyone would come and have a look. And the
what kind of room is
christenings,
this?
It's called the parlor in England, and they had a piano in there.
It's just in your house?
Everyone's got a room like that. So
maybe it's just me, but
okay. Well,
They did.
Irish people.
Yeah, there we go.
So there was a room there where, where everything, like a wedding, we would go in there and all
Sure,
drink
a parlor
too
room.
much too many sherries and stuff. In that room there, and there was a piano, and there was no television, remember? That's the weirdest thing, that we didn't get television until 1953. So I had 6 years of no television. And my grandmother was the first person to have a TV in the neighborhood. So, but every time somebody got married or something, we'd end up in there and they'd have those little English sandwiches, that you had 19 and you're still hungry. Those little tiny sandwiches like that.
The little triangles.
Yeah. And we'd get, and it'd be, and then some part of the evening, somebody would start to play the piano, and then my dad would come out with this bloody trombone which filled half the room up, Can we get rid of him somehow, And his brother had a trumpet, and I was the singer, my Auntie Mary, and we'd do Fat Swallow, my very good friend, the milkman said. And I was kind of just a singer. And it grew, it was like that in those days. People don't realize that Paul McCartney has exactly the same experience, that they had a room where they put the body and the christening and the thing, all that. And and that was that room in everybody's house that was saved for occasions. And we would sing and dance in there. On our own, somebody would play a song that we knew, and the joy of the music. I can still see my Auntie Mary playing the Fat Swallow song with the hand going, my very good friend, the milkman, with the left hand playing the right bass notes. It was like, whoa, she is. They go, wow, she knew the solo. And I said, I want to do this forever. Can I stay in this room forever until they put me in the box? And
Your entire existence in the parlor.
Yeah. From beginning to end, life in the room there has been great. I'm okay with that because it's all music brings back fond memories. I'm lucky. Because a lot of people hear a song and it makes them unhappy. I see sometimes in a concert I do, there's a kind of hush all over the world, and you see a couple hold hands, and I go, that's what that's about. That's good for me, you know what I mean? I get a good feeling.
Absolutely.
And I do say, this song's called The End of the World. I hope you like it. I say every show that, and they'd miss it.
Now, obviously, you mentioned you mentioned knowing the Beatles, you mentioned knowing the Stones. You obviously, a lot of the British groups, you knew one another. Would you elaborate a little bit? Actually, Sue from Columbus, Ohio, is curious if you would elaborate a little bit about your friendships with the different British artists.
Well, most of them don't like me. I'm an ingratiating friend. I like to stand. I love the Stones. So wherever the Stones are, I go and hang and stand near them. I always did. Once we were doing a TV show in Birmingham. And I was 16, and I was new, and they were already they had a good year in the business, so they were old-timers. And I would go up to them and say, where are you going after the show? Because everyone wants that, some 16-year-old kid coming, getting in.
I'm sure the Stones loved it.
Where are you going? Yeah. Where are you going after the show? And, we're going to London, which means we're not going anywhere near up north where you live. We're going to London. Oh, can I come with you? Okay. And I'd get in the car, and they had this massive blue Chevrolet car that wouldn't fit in most streets in England. You certainly couldn't park it. And it had this mad driver called Reg King. It's all right, he's dead. I can talk about him now. He was a pretty violent man, and they would be driving on there's only one motorway in England in those days, like in 1964, and they were driving along, and he would lean out. He was the driver, and he had a hammer on the seat next to him, which was probably to protect the Stones from teenage girls. So
he had a hammer for teenage girls? Wow, that is aggressive.
Yeah. And he was called Reg the Hammerman. And he would drive along, and I was just a kid, so I was like, oh. And he would like lean out of the car and knock the mirrors off the cars as he passed them. Oof. And everyone in the car would go, yeah! And I'm sitting there, I'm from this little Catholic family going, oh, this is shocking. Supposing that was my grandmother, that they just was funny, though. Supposing that was my, to be in England, they had these things called caravans, and it must have been the summer, and they have this massive mirror sticking out the side. He got both sides.
He got both sides. I really thought you were going to say when you started that he reached out and got the teenage girls.
No. No, he was there to protect the stone. I don't know what the hammer was, just to knock out something, anybody dangerous. They had a lot of nice girls following the Stones as well.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
And you.
They were ugly, though, don't they? They were Stones.
Rock stars,
My wife
right?
thinks Mick Jagger's gorgeous. I go, are you kidding me? He's got... Oh, yeah, he's dead sexy.
He's dead sexy. On that impression, don't go anywhere. Don't turn the channel. We'll be back in just a moment with more with the one and only Peter Noone. Welcome back, my friends, for our final segment. When we left there, we were talking about the Stones, and you had, if I remember correctly, 2 years ago, you told an interesting story about Keith Richards pulling you aside.
Oh, yeah, you know, I got a great... I'll tell you that story first. But
yeah, if you don't mind. I think that's a great story.
He says... it was at the City Square Hotel in New York, I remember it, and there was like a little space there, and there was a lot of stuff going on. There were a lot of girls running around, in and out of rooms and stuff, and there was some drinking, some alcohol, and as my parents had been not cautious about drinking of alcohol, I was into it, fully ready. At 16, I was already the best. I thought if you drank the most, you won. And
you were the coolest, right?
Yeah, exactly. It made me feel invincible, and I could talk to girls and everything. You know, a couple of and that, with that accent, it kind of picked up. You got more chicks, and hello, darling.
So sexy, like, so sexy.
Yeah, like like that Dudley Moore in that movie. Hello, darling. And all that. So I get a bit under the weather. I think you call it. That's what drunks call it. Yeah. So I'm a bit under the weather. So I go and sit on the stairs in the thing, and him and Andrew Oldham, who's lovely guys, and not at all like you. Andrew Oldham was the Stones producer and the manager, and they come up to me and they're looking at me like this, and I'm on the floor like I'm afraid of these two guys because they're older than me. You know, when you're 16 and somebody's 20, it's like they're men and I'm just a kid. And they go, and Keith says, if I ever find out you're doing any drugs, I'm going to find you and I'm going to beat your face in. Isn't that amazing? See, he was afraid that I was going to do probably like Brian, who was in his band, who was already like... And he was my friend, Brian. So he must have said, he must have meant, if you go out tonight with Brian Jones, I'll come and get you and beat you both up. So
and it stuck with you.
Well, yeah. He's still alive. He could still beat me up, but he's got those big knuckles now.
Yeah.
Boom. No, I think that was a very nice thing, because it just made me stop and think, to say, hey, I'm not into all that. Where's your girlfriend? That's all I thought,
Sure.
I mean, but there were a lot of people were very... See, there's a camaraderie amongst all those British invasion people.
Of course. That
is unique. We're all the sons and daughters of people who had a horrible life, and we just, all of us happen to have been born into this period, the best 50 years in the history of anything, and our parents they'd had 50 horrible years, 2 world
Tough
wars,
life.
and
Life.
nobody had anything when I grew up. There, people lived with, when I came to America, I weighed 110 pounds. Now I'm 100 and but I was a skinny little kid, and we didn't know because everybody was a skinny kid. When we came over here, we got, it's like a bit of the old Charles Atlas thing going on here. They're still afraid that someone's going to kick sand in their face. I'm ready, and we thought, and it's great because the first thing that we saw was that we were all English, and we all told each other what we were doing. I make the joke in my show. I used to say to the Beatles and the Stones and the thing, we go and play on the celebrity cruises. You know what I mean? I used to we did talk to each other, and I remember I was in this room, and this guy called Vic Lewis, who was a big band guy. My father was in a big band. He was a trombone player, and he knew all these. Like Pete Townshend's mum and dad were both in a big band, and Paul McCartney's dad was a semi-professional musician. We all came from musicians who never made it, and just get in the van, go all over the world, do all the things that we couldn't do. So we were all inspired to just go and work. And what was I saying? What was the question?
I don't think we've had a single question yet, to be quite honest. I think we're still on the opening banter.
I know what it
I
is.
think-
The camaraderie
Yes.
was unique because, you know, I would see, like, 50 years later, I'd see Jack Bruce, and Jack Bruce was in Cream, and he was in a lot of bands, and he would say, you were lucky that night. I go, what do you mean? He said, you know, remember that night when Ginger Baker, you said, I'm going to kick his ass and everything, and I said, oh, Peter, don't go out there with him. I said, I know I'm going to he just was rude to me and my girlfriend. I'm going to go and knock him out. Peter, don't do that. He'll kill you. He said, 50 years later, he said, see what I mean? I said, oh, yeah, he would have killed me. I thought it was a fight, but you meant he was going to kill me. So we knew each other through all these years, and every time somebody made it, we were happy. You know, now I see people, I can't believe that's records in the charts. We were just, anybody who made it was saying, oh, good, another one's in the charts. And the Beatles used to ask the Stones, when you're putting out your single, because we don't put them out the same day, because then they'll compete for the #1 spot. I mean, we actually all knew each other. It was a small scene, and we all knew each other. We knew of each other, or we actually knew each other. And that is unique to a period in England. I'm sure the guys in Oasis now don't know the guys in whatever, in the 1974, the 1975, whatever it's called. They won't know each other, because now England is this big, and like America, nobody connects to each other anymore. We were all connected, and we all met on the same roads, going to and from work, and if there was a fight, we'd all join in. I was famously a great fight. I don't know how I got the fame. If you read the Tom Jones book, I've knocked people out in every chapter. and what it was it's a quick story. I don't know if I'm wasting all your show. My mother had this coffee table with legs that unscrewed. You know, they unscrewed out the bottom. And we thought it'd be a good idea to take those with us in the van.
Oh.
In case truck drivers, you know, you'd walk in dressed similar to this, but in those days, if you had long hair, tight trousers, Beatle boots, and looked a bit sissy, people wanted to beat you up. You would go into a truck stop and they go, oh, we've got to get a... And we said, well, we'll get these things. It was called a dobber. And we had these things, and you could hide them in your coat or push them up your arm like that and go in there. And I had to explain to the Hermits, who were very nice boys. I was really lucky, really nice boys. I had to explain to them, no, if you've got a dobber, which is a chair thing, a coffee table thing, and you don't hit the guy really quickly, he will get it. And he will hit you with and then he'll come and get me. So it is your duty just to walk in there,
swing first,
and hit somebody. So they all know we've got one.
Yeah. And just to establish.
That worked out. So there's many famous books about me inventing the word groupie, dobber, and and Tom Jones will tell people in his book, he chinned people. He chinned people. I don't even know what it means. He chinned him. And it was in a pub in Shepperton. The guy wasn't even looking. I don't know what kind of a fight it was. But I won.
Well, he wasn't looking. It's best when they're not looking to win, I find.
Absolutely, yeah. Because, you know, if you get them quick, like, boom, and then as they turn around, all his mates know that he's going to kill you, and they don't want him to kill you, so they hold him. Then you win.
Fighting tips with Peter Noone today at 4 o'clock in the Rendezvous. So the next time you find yourself getting ready for a fight, folks, make sure you have your dauber and his friends hold him back.
No, don't bring one, because we'll hit you with it.
Yeah. We'll hit you first to make sure we establish ourselves in the building. Arlene from Houston says, how do you retain your high energy levels and youthful exuberance? Is it vitamins?
It's Panglossian. It's naively optimistic. I truly believe that today is going to be a great day and tomorrow is going to be even better.
That's the way to say it.
You know? And if you stay healthy, you've got lots and lots and lots of those days to come. People don't know that. I have a friend who got really, really sick, and he had a lung transplant, both lungs transplanted. Oy. And for months before he had the lungs transplanted, he was at the gym. And I go, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? And he said, well, I want to be fit for the operation. because he wanted the rest of his body to be fit. And you know, if he hadn't have got fit, he would have died. He didn't die because if you're sick and you get ill, you're probably going to die. You've got to get fit to be ready to be sick. Everybody's going to get sick. Sorry, guys, I hate to... It's a bit of a downer, isn't it? But it's better to be fit when you're going to be sick. And you know you're going to be sick one day, so it's better start getting fit now. I mean, fit, it's a spiritual thing. You know, you can be fit in your head and walk around with a barrel of lard on the back of your shoulders.
Which slowly moves to the front.
It moves up your back. Every year you get older, your arse moves another inch up your back.
That's why the pants are so high.
And you're lucky. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're lucky. You're lucky when you go in the buffet that they don't have cash and everything, because you'd see people getting them wallets out like this. Men.
Those are the same guys you see in the restroom, like this. Yeah.
Do that one again. That was a good visual.
Yeah. Christine, all the way from Jersey, says, what can you tell us about your appearance on the Laverne and Shirley show with Eric Idle?
We conned them so good. You know, it was Paramount had this Laverne and Shirley. And I think it's Eric Idle had this idea that we would get married to Laverne and Shirley. And how we'd get married was we'd give them LSD. Isn't that what a concept? And they would be on a trip, sort of a bit like, they'd feel like they were here with us right now. And they'd be on a trip, and then, and of course, Paramount, when they saw it, they said, no, Laverne and Shirley, they're from Milwaukee, they LSD. So Eric had a plan. And the second part of the plan was, then we'll say, okay, they just smoke a joint and we marry them. Oh, Laverne and Shirley from Milwaukee, they would never smoke. There's not any part of the show that has maybe Lenny and Squiggy could smoke a joint, but they're not going to be there. So he said, well, how about we sneak some hash into a brownie? Oh, well, okay, because apparently the third one always works. Yeah. So in the show, we sneak some hash. Somebody does somehow. And they eat these brownies, and of course they're instantly on this trip. You know, it'd be like, it's just a trip, and we take them to Vegas, and we get them married. We marry them, so we can get a green card, so we can move to America and get paid real money.
Real money?
Yeah. I think a lawyer's a quicker way to do it. Get a lawyer.
I married a Canadian, so yeah.
In the show I married Cindy.
Yeah.
Shirley, I guess, right now.
Yeah.
She was a good bride for I only pretended for about 11 minutes.
It was a few, an episode. Yeah, that's all I needed.
No, but the hotel.
Oh, the hotel. Oh. Well, 11 minutes is plenty.
No. Just a joke.
Youthful exuberance.
She didn't even like me.
Yeah. Well, you gave her hash and a brownie. Why would you?
Yeah, really.
Yeah. You pulled one over. I tell you what, I know we have a lot of things to do, but I want to do me all a favor, those of you live here in the studio, and of course, if you're watching TV, you'll acknowledge this as well. Mr. Peter Noone for taking his time to come here and be with us and share some stories and some laughs. I'm your host, Jason. I want to thank you so much for being with us. Tomorrow, I've got the Hollies on stage.
Yeah.
Have a great day, my friends. One more time, Mr. Peter Noone.
Sorry for Justin.
Justin.